In the infinite dark sea of space, far beyond the last whisper of sunlight, a lone traveler drifts silently. It is not a spaceship carrying astronauts, and it is not a probe meant to return home. It is Voyager 2, an aging but persistent messenger launched by humanity nearly 5 decades ago. For most people, the story of Voyager 2 seems simple. After crossing the outer boundary of our solar system, it would quietly continue drifting through space, sending faint signals back to Earth while observing the cold emptiness between the stars. But now, something has changed. Voyager 2 has seen something. Something that was never supposed to move. Something that was never supposed to be there. For years, the probe's journey through the interstellar medium had been calm and predictable. It recorded drifting particles, subtle magnetic fields, and the endless silence of deep space. Nothing dramatic ever happened. The probe simply traveled forward, faithfully transmitting scientific data back to Earth. But then the silence broke. A motion appeared in the darkness, deliberate and unmistakable. Something was moving out there, and it seemed to be moving with purpose. When scientists on Earth decoded the strange anomalies Voyager 2 transmitted, a chilling realization slowly began to settle in. The fear many scientists had quietly imagined might actually be real. Voyager 2 had already passed every familiar landmark of the solar system. It moved beyond Neptune, beyond Pluto, and even beyond the heliopause, the invisible boundary where the sun's influence fades and true interstellar space begins. Out there, the probe was expected to drift quietly forever, measuring tiny variations in space dust and solar radiation. Instead, it detected movement. Not the kind of movement caused by random debris or distant gravitational forces. This was different. It looked intentional. At first, engineers at the NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory believed the signal might be a glitch. Voyager's plasma wave instruments showed a brief spike in the data that lasted only seconds. These sensors are incredibly sensitive and usually record changes in particle density or magnetic field interactions. But this signal behaved strangely. It pulsed in a steady rhythm. It didn't look like natural data. It looked like a pattern. Engineers initially blamed interference. Perhaps cosmic rays had disrupted the signal, or maybe Voyager's aging systems were finally beginning to degrade after nearly 50 years in space. That would not have been surprising. But then the signal appeared again. This time it was stronger. And it repeated. That was the moment scientists realized something unusual was happening. The signal was not random noise. It was structured. Voyager 2 had detected something, and it had recorded it. Once the data was cleaned and analyzed, the results sent shockwaves through the scientific community. There was an object located roughly 500,000 kilometers away from the probe. Even more puzzling was its motion. It was moving at a speed that did not match any known natural object in that region of space. There are no asteroid belts there. No rogue planets expected. No known comets drifting through that area. Yet this object was not simply drifting. It was tracking. Its direction aligned with the same vector Voyager 2 was traveling. Even more disturbing, its speed adjusted slightly over time, mirroring the probe's own trajectory. Imagine a silent predator following behind its prey, adjusting its movements just enough to remain nearby without revealing itself. Scientists were alarmed. Independent astronomers and deep space tracking specialists were brought in to analyze the data. Observers connected to global monitoring networks examined the readings as well. They reviewed Voyager's plasma density measurements, magnetometer data, and tiny fluctuations in its gyroscopic systems. Every piece of evidence pointed toward the same unsettling conclusion. Voyager 2 had company. And that company might not be friendly. The most disturbing discovery did not come from what Voyager 2 saw. It came from what it sent back. Hidden inside the probe's normal telemetry feed was a strange radio frequency burst. The signal appeared to be piggybacking on the standard transmission being sent to Earth. The shocking part was that Voyager 2 was never programmed to send this kind of data. Yet somehow, it did. When scientists decrypted the packet, they found a series of binary strings. When the numbers were converted into visual form, They created patterns that looked almost like symbols or glyphs. They did not resemble natural cosmic signals or background radiation. They looked constructed. Some researchers compared the shapes to the geometric complexity of crop circles. Others noticed similarities to ancient human symbols, spirals, intersections, and recursive loops repeating again and again. A group of AI linguists and astrophysicists analyzed the data using advanced pattern recognition algorithms. The results were deeply unsettling. The structure of the signal strongly resembled an intentional transmission. But not from Voyager 2. From something else. Something that had either intercepted or inserted itself into the signal stream. Whether the message was meant as a warning, a greeting, or something else entirely, no one could say for certain. But the implications were impossible to ignore. Voyager 2 had encountered something in deep space. And whatever it encountered might have noticed us too. The scientific community quickly split into two groups. Some believed this could finally be the evidence humanity had been searching for, proof that intelligent life exists somewhere beyond Earth. Others were far less optimistic. They feared the signal might represent surveillance, or even the beginning of something dangerous. For decades, the search for extraterrestrial life focused mostly on distant planets and faint radio signals from faraway stars. But this was different. This was close. And it was active. Even more unsettling was the timing. Just months earlier, a similar anomaly had appeared in the data from Voyager 1. At the time, scientists dismissed it as static interference. Now those old records were being examined again. With fresh analysis, many researchers began to suspect something disturbing. The earlier signal looked almost identical to Voyager 2's recent encounter. In other words, the first contact might have already happened. Meanwhile, Voyager 2 continued collecting new data. Scientists working with NASA's Deep Space Network began receiving strange electromagnetic readings. Frequencies were oscillating in patterns never seen before. At first, analysts assumed it was interference from cosmic radiation. But after isolating the signal and enhancing its waveform, something incredible appeared. The pulses followed a precise mathematical structure. Scientists performed a Fourier analysis to break the signal into its harmonic components. The frequencies resembled the natural resonance of hydrogen, the most abundant element in the universe, but with one strange difference. They were inverted. It was as if someone had taken a universal cosmic signal and deliberately modified it. The message was not noise. It was structured. It was trying to communicate. When scientists mapped the movement of the anomaly against Voyager 2's trajectory, they noticed something even more alarming. The object had shifted position again. It was still tracking the probe. Digging deeper into archived data, and in turn reviewing old records discovered something remarkable. Decades-old telemetry from Voyager 1 showed a nearly identical anomaly. When the two datasets were compared, a disturbing pattern emerged. Both probes had experienced similar disturbances, both in the same region of interstellar space, and decades apart. Back then, Voyager 1's brief disruption was dismissed as random interference. But modern AI decoding tools told a different story. When scientists reanalyzed the signal distortions, the waveform matched Voyager 2's recent event almost perfectly. This meant the encounter was not new. Something had already encountered Voyager 1, and now it had encountered Voyager 2. Scientists attempted to simulate the object's motion using known physics, but every model failed. The path did not follow gravitational arcs like a comet or asteroid. Instead, its trajectory bent sharply and unpredictably. It was almost as if space itself was being distorted. Even more troubling, the object could accelerate and slow down suddenly, something impossible for natural objects drifting through deep space. As the anomaly moved nearby, Voyager 2's magnetometer began detecting rapid magnetic flux changes. The shifts were so sharp that they suggested active manipulation of electromagnetic fields. Around the world, speculation exploded. Some people claimed Voyager had encountered advanced alien technology. Others pointed to leaked reports suggesting the energy distortions resembled torus-shaped fields similar to those predicted by theoretical warp-drive physics. If that were true, Voyager 2 might have stumbled onto something far beyond humanity's current understanding. Then something even stranger happened. Radio telescopes located in Chile, Australia, and South Africa began detecting faint echoes of the same distorted frequency Voyager 2 had recorded. The signals were extremely weak, buried beneath cosmic background noise, but they shared one alarming feature. They pulsed in perfect synchrony with the transmission delays of Voyager 2 signals. It was as if something out there was mirroring the probe's activity. Scientists began calling this strange phenomenon the phantom pulse. Attempts to triangulate the signal's origin failed. The signals appeared to originate from multiple regions of space at once. Whatever was responsible seemed capable of projecting its presence across enormous distances. And the pattern seemed deliberate, as if someone wanted humanity to notice. But only when the time was right. Soon the discussion within classified scientific circles shifted. Researchers stopped asking what the anomaly was. Instead, they began asking a far more disturbing question. Why now? Voyager 2 had been drifting silently for nearly 50 years. It was expected to fade into the background of the universe. Yet now, just as artificial intelligence and advanced decoding technologies on Earth had matured, the signal appeared. Some scientists proposed a chilling possibility. The anomaly had been watching, waiting, observing humanity's technological progress. And when our species finally developed the tools capable of understanding its message, it responded. Soon afterward, media blackouts were quietly imposed. Some private observatories temporarily shut down their public data feeds. Reports even suggested that certain AI researchers were removed from their projects without explanation. Behind closed doors, one question echoed again and again. Did Voyager 2 trigger humanity's first contact? Or did it awaken something that had been waiting in the darkness all along? In the end, Voyager 2 became far more than a scientific instrument. It became the spark for a revelation that shattered humanity's sense of cosmic loneliness. A mysterious moving structure in deep space. Mirrored transmissions. Encoded mathematical frequencies. None of it fits neatly into the boundaries of known science. Something, or someone, is out there. Not billions of light-years away, but hidden in the shadows of our own cosmic neighborhood. Watching, waiting, and perhaps the most terrifying detail of all is this: they chose now to respond. Not when Voyager first launched, not when it passed Neptune, but now, when humanity finally has the technology to understand the message. So the question is no longer whether we are alone in the universe. The real question is far more unsettling. What have we just woken up? And if another signal arrives tomorrow, it might not just change what we know about the universe.